My name is Norie Guthrie from the Woodson Research Center, Fondren Library at Rice University. I am interviewing Kenneth Bell, aka Little Joe Bell. Today is Thursday, August 22nd, 2019. Let's start with your father. Can you tell me about his early life?
Well, my father was ambitious about playing music when he was a little boy, and he started out playing the accordion with his father, and somehow he picked up a guitar. I don't know where he got it from yet. I never found that out, but he picked up a guitar and he fell in love with it, and he began to play it, and people were like, well, man, this guy sounds pretty good on the guitar. And the word got out. People started wanting him to come sit in and play in their band. And finally he was able to get some gigs, if you will, and that led to him having some big name guys call him. Like he told me, he said he auditioned for Little Richard. I know that he and Grady Gaines, saxophone player, renowned saxophone player, played together, and also kind of grew up in the same neighborhood. And last but not least, what made him almost famous was the fact that he got a chance to play in the band with T-Bone Walker. And most people, especially the ones who are blues musicians, they are familiar with T-Bone Walker.
Can you tell me a little bit more about T-Bone Walker?
Well, like I said, T-Bone Walker kind of heard my dad play and thought, look, this guy can play this guitar pretty good. So he would go out and sit in with him at first. And he got better and better. And so T-Bone Walker hired him as his second guitar player. And he earned the title of Little T-Bone Walker. And after a while, he felt like there wasn't enough money in the music business. So he got out of the business and went to work full time. And from my understanding, to take care of us 6 kids and my mother. And at that time, shortly after that, these guys that he played with, careers took off. And unfortunately, they left him behind. And so they didn't, he didn't get the attention and recognition I thought that he should have gotten.
So where was your father born?
He was born in a little town called Raywood, Texas. Some people may not know about it, some might. It's just right outside of Crosby, Texas. Liberty, Ames, Dayton, and Raywood. All those towns are within 5 miles apart, something to that effect.
What did his parents do for a living?
Well, my grandmother, his mother, and his dad, I think they worked on a farm, and my grandmother was a housekeeper, and my grandpa was, I understand, he was a farmer.
When did did the whole family relocate to Houston, or did your dad just move to Houston later on?
I'm sorry?
I said, did the whole family move to Houston, or
No,
did your dad?
Just my dad and my mom. They just felt like, it wasn't enough to do in Raywood, Texas for them, and so they moved to Houston, which is where I was born.
About when did they move to Houston?
They moved to Houston before any of the kids were born. So I'm gonna say my brother was born in 1951, so they might have moved to Houston in 48, 49,
Okay.
1948, 49.
Where did they move to in the city?
they moved to Cashmere Garden. A lot of people call it Fifth Ward, and Liberty Garden. We saw pretty much Jensen Drive, almost pretty much the same, which is, in my opinion, was not the best place in the neighborhood, I mean, in the world, I mean, in Houston to move to.
But it was, so they, just so I can understand his life a little bit better. So was it after he moved to Houston that he started his music, or was that about the time he kind of started to drift away from music?
Yeah, no, he started the music in the little town called Raywood. He had gotten kind of into the music while before they moved to Houston. And when he moved to Houston, he got pretty good at it. And he would go to work and leave work and go to the gigs. Yeah, he'd leave. They had a place downtown where he worked in one of those buildings downtown. Back in the 50s, they had a shower in the building, and he could take a shower and bring a set of clothes and go to the gig later on that evening.
So, what kind of jobs did he have when he was doing both music and working?
I'm sorry, you said?
What kind of jobs did he have? So you said he was working downtown. So what job was he working at downtown?
He was working at Patty Royal.
Okay.
Patty Royal. And if I'm not mistaken, it still exists today. Is 2019. It still exists. And he was the janitor at Patty Royal.
Okay.
And Patty Royal was well known for women fashion clothes, and they sold men clothes. But he would get my sisters their school clothes from his jobs, Patty Royal. He was the janitor there. Okay.
All right. So he would go into Palais Royal. I would assume he'd bring his nice clothes with him.
He'd bring his work. He'd go to work in his work clothes.
Right.
And bring his dress clothes to work and change clothes at work and go to the gig from work.
Okay. Yeah. What were some of the places where he played?
He played at places like, you have to be close to 70 to remember some of these places. He played at a place called the Whispering Pine, Club de Lisa, El Dorado, Matinee, to name a few. Mm-hmm. And that's the only ones I can think of right now.
Did you ever go into any of those clubs?
Did I go? Yeah. Matter of fact, I had the same ambition he had. When I was a kid, I was like, I liked the music, and they would take me to the shows with them. And they would call me Little Joe Bell as well. And I would play a little guitar and a little bass. And from that point, they would play some James Brown. And I had to be about 11 years old. I would do the James Brown on the floor, and people would throw a lot of change on the floor. And so I made a little money for the gig. The gig was only paying like $6 a night. My dad was making $6. They had a cigar box that you put 35 cents in the cigar box. And I used to wonder, how do you know you're putting 35 cents in the box? Because they didn't really look at the money. They just, 35 cents, you drop it in a little slot in the cigar box. And I was making $10, $12 doing the James Brown because the people would throw money on the stage. On the floor. The floor was kind of shiny and slippery. And I would slide and do things on the dance floor. And that was my take when I was a little kid with the guys in the band.
Did you enjoy doing that, or did you?
Yeah, well, it had a positive effect. I'm like, man, these people clapping and excited about what I'm doing. And, you know, like, I'm just trying to make lunch money. Yeah.
That's really cute. So you started to go in there around 11, and you would do that. Did you go to him to his gigs when you were younger than that, or did you go with him to gigs when you were younger, like younger than 11?
Yeah, but he would take me if it wasn't school day. Most of the time he was on the holiday, during the spring break, during the weekend. But if it was on school day, no, I didn't. I had to be sleep by 8 o'clock for school the next day.
And then, when did you start to want to play the guitar?
Well, you know, I played guitar, and I kind of didn't like it. I wanted to do some other things for a while. In my early 20s and probably late 20s and early 30s, I played the guitar. And from what I could tell, guys wasn't doing too well financially. So I got into the insurance business and did pretty good selling insurance. When I got serious with the music business is when my dad started to become ill and couldn't play. And I'm like, well, somebody's got to pick up the torch if he can't play. And so I felt like I need to try to get him to go ahead and teach me this stuff, because you know we never know when we're gonna leave here. So by him getting ill, I'm like, man, if something happened to my dad, and none of the kids don't have this music, it's gonna be a shame. So I picked up the guitar, and probably unlike a lot of other musicians, I had the luxury, if you will, of getting someone to teach me who had something to do with the starting of this blues thing. My dad was playing blues back when it was in its early stages. So I got that, and also I felt like, well, you know, I need to continue this family tradition. And so I played the guitar. And so they would call and they would ask for my dad. He said, no, I can't play anymore. My hands are not working like they used to. And so they would ask for Joe Bell. And he would say, I tell you what, I'll send my son. And he could play a little bit, just show him what you need him to do, and he'll do it. So they started calling and they said, you know, well, Joe Bell don't play, speaking of my dad. But his son does. His son plays. And so they used to call and ask, rather than asking for me by my name, which is Kenneth, they asked for, hey, is little Joe Bell there? I tell him we got a gig tonight. We'd like for him to do this gig with us tonight. And so I would go do gigs like that.
How old were you when you started to do that, to kind of learn his craft?
Well, you know, when I really got serious with music, to be honest with you, professionally, I was probably about 30, 31, 32.
Okay.
And that's when I really got serious. I could play a little bit, but just sitting down and practicing day and night, and having your next door neighbor knock on your door and say, hey, listen, you're ruining my sleep, turn that music down. Practicing. Because I knew if I was gonna get this music, I had to put a lot of time into it. Because they did back in the days.
Right.
I don't know how they do today, but back then, those guys, a lot of practice. Yeah.
Can you show me something that your father taught you how to do?
Sure.
Yeah.
Woman, you must be crazy. You don't know what you want to do. you crazy. You don't know what you want to do. You mean to tell me you're gonna leave me? After all I've done for you.
So you talked about your father getting hurt. Did he have like arthritis in his hands, or did he get injured on the job?
No, well, when you use your hands for manual labor, it has a tendency to destroy your fingers, and you can't quite get the friction, the movement that you want out of your hands. So you lose the ability to play as well as you used to.
Did you, in a sense, you sold insurance, so you never really had that experience as your dad did. You didn't have to worry about your hands.
No.
getting
I
damaged.
try to stay away from the jobs that would destroy your fingers.
Okay. All right. So, can you tell me, you told me a little bit about your early life. So you were born in Houston, you said, and then you would go around with your dad and did insurance. So, let's see. What were some of the first places that you played?
I played at a lot of places around town that were just fly by night. They're here today and gone tomorrow. And, a lot of the names, and that's where you get your experience from. You don't make a lot of money. You play these clubs. You play these clubs that's not really not into the live entertainment, but they give you a gig because they want to try it, see how it works, and they've tried other things and nothing works, so they close up. I've played a lot of those, but you have to do, that's what they call in the music business, paying your dues. You have to do that to get to the places where the other guys playing at that's doing a lot better.
Do you remember any of the names of those places? Because anything that you remember is stuff that we can draw on later.
I played at Club Morocco, which is right around the corner from where I live. I played at a place called B&B's on Scott Street. I played at a couple of places on Darling. I don't recall the name of them. And I just played a lot of just places in the backyard. But I did play at a church called Metropolitan for about 10 years. Yeah, I played there for about 10 years.
Well, but how was that a different? Was that a different experience than playing in a club?
Well, during that time I had developed the skill of being able to play a song that you've never played before, but you can play it because of your connection to other songs that's familiar. And the people that I was playing with was playing songs out of a music book. They could read the music. So they would tell each other, the keyboard player would tell the organist to go to page such and such. They wouldn't tell me because I couldn't read the music out the book, but I could play by ear. So they left me out when the song started to play according to what I hear. And I did pretty good at that. Yeah, a lot of the songs that I play, not because a lot of the songs we used to rehearse too. A lot of the songs we would rehearse before we played it on Sundays. But for the times that they did a song that we didn't rehearse on, I had to just play what I felt.
So, would you see your role as kind of sometimes providing a flourish to the song, like kind of adding a little bit of extra,
Well, yeah.
kind of interpreting? Yeah.
Well, most musicians they do add. That's another phase that you get into when you learn music, rather than just playing the song straight, if you will. Then people would add a little of their own personalized touch to it. Yeah.
So, what would you say were some of your favorite places to play?
Well, some of my favorite places to play was I played at the Chicago Blues Festival. I did that one year. A friend of mine moved to Chicago. That was living here. We played together. He moved to Chicago, and he called me and said, "Hey Joe, I'm gonna do this thing in the Chicago Blues Festival." He says, "Shoot, I would like to have you come out and play with us." And so I did that. The Blues Festival, I enjoyed that. We have a place in town that's familiar with a lot of the better musicians that play a little better than some of the others, called the Big Easy. I play there. The Hideaway, Emmett's, to name a few. And we play out some of the other venues that don't always have a band on a regular basis. These places I just named, they play music on a regular basis, 7 nights a week. But there are some other places that play every 2-3 months, here and there.
To go back to some of those places that you talked about going with your father to, like I think you mentioned the El Dorado Ballroom, Club Matinee.
Matinee?
Yeah. Could you describe those places? What were they like on the inside?
Those places, they have some pictures here and there. People look up. People have, some of the grandkids have kept after the people who were here, because all the people who were doing that here during that time, they're all gone. But when you go into those places, it would be everybody's having a good time. They're enjoying themselves, very friendly. But there's always 1 or 2 people in there that's acting up. And so you just look around and you'll find that person. But the owner or the bartender would escort them out the door. And other than that, it would be fine.
So did these places have kind of big stages, small stages? Were they it was kind of like an intimate space where
they had medium-sized stage, but the people would dance close to the stage, and they would get a little happy and get on the stage. But as long as they didn't get too far carried away, the people didn't mind.
And when I met you originally, it was at the Silver Slipper.
Silver Slipper.
Is that a place that you play at every once in a while?
Every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
They call me because I go there. It's not far from where I live at. So every Saturday night, it's a live band there. And I make it my business. But as a musician, if there's a live band, if you're not playing somewhere, you're probably going to be there. So my take is, if I'm not playing, then I'm there. So I'm there on Saturdays. They're playing. And I'm familiar with it, because a lot of bands, I hope I'm not giving up any secrets, but a lot of bands play 80% of the same show just about every week. It might change 20% of it, but 80% of the show is the same. So by me being there, quite often on a regular basis. I'm hearing these songs, so they're like, "Hey Joe, can you sit in with us tonight? Our bass player can't make it tonight." And because I've been there and heard these songs, and pretty much have familiarized myself with the show, then I can do it. So without a lot of rehearsal, because a lot of times you don't have time for rehearsal. If you got time, if a guy says, "Well, I'm not gonna be there this week," he's not gonna be there this week. Then they'll call a practice. But if something happened at the spur of a moment, then there's no practice. You got to come in and start playing. Yeah.
Do you find that to be something that's kind of hard, being able to just jump into a group?
Well, you know, it is hard. It's hard for the simple reason if you've never been exposed to that, then it's hard. The scary is hard. And you're looking around at the audience, and they're looking at you, and it's like you're in a mysterious place, because the audience is like, this guy over there, somebody's not on. They don't know how to play, but they know what they're hearing is good or bad. So they're looking around and saying, "Well, something is not right," and the guy's trying to kind of camouflage, trying to keep himself from being exposed. And if that's a horrible feeling. But what happens is once you've been exposed to that, which I have been, so it's no big deal. It becomes no big deal. If someone kicks off a song and you tell them, "I don't know the song," but they're going to play it anyway. And so they're saying, in so many words, they're saying, "Well, look, we're going to play this song and we're going to get by with 3 pieces, which means you're not going to be playing because you don't know it. Or we're going to get by with you trying to play the song. Now, you make the call." So, you've been exposed to it, you try it. You'll do something. Yeah. And most of it is similar. And most of the songs that they play, very seldom a song comes up that you don't know. Everybody knows the same songs.
Maybe also the way the songs are constructed, it makes it easy, even if you don't know the song.
Right. Because some of them is familiar with other songs. I mean, you got songs, when you're playing the blues, they don't tell you the name of the song. They tell you the type of music they want. So there's no song to guide you. It's music. Play me a shuffle in G, or play me a shuffle in C. A shuffle is a shuffle. And so whatever song you're going to sing, doesn't matter. You want to shuffle. Or play me a slow blues. A slow blues is a slow blues in C or G. And so you just play the slow blues. But you got people that don't know no better and say, "Well, what's the name of the song?" If you polished you don't ask that. You just play me a slow blues. And we count it off and you play slow blues.
So there's the shuffle, there's the slow blues. What else is what's another type of song that someone will tell you to play or style?
Well, if they're saying we're gonna play a song, we just play it. We're gonna play it in the key of A. Just stay on the 1.
Okay.
Just stay on the 1. There's no changing it. All you gotta do is stay on the 1. Shouldn't have to tell you anything else. Stay on the 1 means just stay on the key of A and don't move. Okay. And the song comes out right. You never heard the song before. I never heard the song before. Well, just stay on the 1.
Can you play me an example of a shuffle?
Sure. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. at the bar. But when you're not happy, that ain't no fun at all. You can't take it with you. That's one thing for sure. Yeah, you can't take it with you. That's one thing for sure. Nothing wrong with you. T-Bone Sugar can't eat you. He's original. He's just the original. I mean, you know, when you speak of blues, when you say original, it does not come from who you are and how you play. It comes from how you express this. How do you express this through your guitar and your songs? And it don't get no better than lightning.
Right.
And he's just gifted with that. He's just born with that. This guy can make one guitar and a drum sound better than some guy with a 5-10 piece band. Lightning could do that.
Yeah.
I listen to him right now. And it's just amazing because when he plays the guitar and when he sings, the feeling of being in a cotton field or being on a farm, all that comes out of his playing and his singing. All that comes out. And that's what it's all about. It's about the hard times.
Right.
And when you're singing the blues, it's about the hard times that you've been through, that I've been through, that made you want to sit in the corner and cry, whatever the case may be. Now, you can do that. Everybody can sit in the corner and cry, and we get the same feeling. Everybody can't play it on the guitar. See, that's, you know, people can play the blues, but they can't, the expression is not, you can hit the same notes. Everything can be the exact same, but the expression. And you know what? They haven't been able to put their fingers on it. It does not come from the amplifier. It does not come from the guitar. It comes from how you, see, I can turn that guitar on. I can turn all those knobs. Those knobs don't express what I feel. It comes through your fingers. If you got the right feeling and you can express yourself, it comes through your fingers. So they can't invent nothing to replace that. See, the thing about it is they got synthesizers and all this stuff that you can put on a guitar.
Right.
And it can make the guitar do a lot of stuff that you can't make it do. But the truth of the matter is, it'll get you by, and it'll make people think you're doing this and doing that. But when you hear the real blues, there's nothing you can do about it but accept it. So when you hear Lightning Hopkins and these other guys playing, and some of these other guys playing who live today, then there's no comparison. These guys, they've been heartbroken. I mean, really heartbroken, and they survived that, and they're expressing this. Right. And when you've been through that, you know, a lot of other people have too. But to pick up a guitar and express the way you feel inside on a guitar, it's just you can't match it. You can't match it. And that's what the blues is about, you know. You can hit all the notes you want, but if those notes don't have no feeling in them, you're just wasting your time.
Is your father one of those that was from the generation that could really
father,
translate that feeling into it?
That's my father, you know, I often think about him now because, you know, I feel bad about me telling him, I don't want to play that, man. You know, that's terrible. I grew up where my dad, 80% of the records and music in my house was T-Bone Walker. We had about 20% of other musicians, but everything played in my house was T-Bone Walker. And it just killed me. Now, after he got older and I got older, people started telling me, hey man, this T-Bone Walker guy is, man, you know, no, you can't touch him, you can't touch him. And I'm like, what? My dad been trying to tell me this all these years and I didn't realize it. But just prior to his death, I said, wait a minute, hold up, Dad, hold up. I said, man, you got time to show me some of this stuff? Because he could play it. He could play the blues. You know, he could play the blues. I got people that tell me right now, they say, hey, Joe, man, they say you was pretty tough back in the 50s and 60s. I'm like, no, that wasn't me, man. I wasn't even born. Oh, that was my dad. Oh, was your dad? Because people talk to him now, but they don't talk to him like I think they ought to talk about him. Talk about him like, you know, you got Texas Johnny Brown mentioned him before he passed away. I got this thing about, I was in Third Ward before Lightning Hopkins died. Somebody said, well, you know what, Lightning Hopkins live over there. And I knocked on his door. And he goes, can I help you, young man? I said, yeah, man, my name is Joe Bell. Joe Bell? Yeah, I know Joe Bell. Well, that's my dad. Oh, man, really? I said, yeah, man. I said, can you play me a little something? He said, man, I'll be glad to. We sat on the porch and he played a little stuff. And it almost brought tears to my eyes, yeah. But those guys, they're not around no more. And we're trying to keep it going for them. And sometimes we're not doing a good job. I mean, you know, we got to stop because they love the audience. They love you. They love the audience. The reason they did this is for you. Now, if we're not doing this for you, then we're missing the boat. We're supposed to be doing this for you. And we're supposed to give you the best we can for whatever you pay. If it's $1, if it's $10, if it's $1,000, we're supposed to give you the best because just because you don't pay but $1 don't mean we don't give you the best. You always give your best. And besides, you may not have but $1. But anyway, that's my take on the blues.
So this kind of, since you've talked about your dad, can you tell me how you honor your father's memory through your performances?
Through the way I play now. The way I play guitar now is basically for my appreciation for what he did, not only for me, but you had to be here to know what he did for the audience. When he went out and played, I tell you how much love he had for playing music for the audience. Because he always told me, you're not playing for you. If you're playing for you, get out the business. You're playing for the audience. When you go out there, your appearance is for the audience. So he was shining his shoes. Please don't step on his shoes. It was just almost, you know, please don't take, because he would take his time to shine his own shoes. When he shined his shoes, if they was sitting here, I would walk probably about 10 feet around the other way. And I didn't want to step on his shoes. But I play guitar to honor what he, not so much for him, but to honor what he told me to do. And he said, always play your best. I try to do that, to play your best. I always play with a feeling. And I told a guy not long ago, I said, well, what's your name, man? He said, Scott, a friend of mine. I live in Chicago now. I said, man, why'd you learn to play guitar like that? He said, what you mean, man? I said, man, you play with a feeling. You know, I don't see a lot of that these days. I mean, there's some out there, but there's a lot of guys out there. But, and the guy says, no. So he plays something for me. And I said, no. Go back and play what you played a little while, just a few minutes ago. Play that again. He played it, and I'm like, man, that's a feeling. Now I say, anytime you want to get a feeling out of what you're doing, go back and play that, and then go back and try to play what you're trying to play.
So you've already kind of talked to me about how a lot of the blues generation has passed away here in Houston. and you kind of, it seems like you feel that maybe the feeling of the blues doesn't always come throughout their playing. But are there some things that you do feel that have been passed on to the new generation?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like that the ones that's passing, that's gone, left a legacy, and the guys that play blues now, which is quite a few, are trying to make sure that it continues. The problem with that is that I don't see enough young kids playing the blues. Now, I'm not saying the blues is what you're playing. It's just like I said, you know, if they don't pick the guitar up and start playing, you're not going to be able to see it live anymore. The only way you're going to be able to see it is through some kind of technology. And that's not good. So I recommend that these kids start trying to play the blues. Now, whether they want to make a living with it or not, I don't know. Maybe not. But I think being able to play the blues should be, you know, and I try to teach some of the kids about playing the blues, but you know, they just like I am like you are when when me anyway. We're kids. We felt like that was something that, you know, we could do 20, 40 years later. You know, you don't want to wait that long. Besides, you know, these guys who played the blues back then started at an early age. And so, you know, pretty soon it's going to be no live in it. No, I mean, rock and roll. I mean, I see kids playing rock and roll. I see all this technology they're using and all that. I see that, but no, I don't see anybody playing the blues. I mean, I do, but very, that's what I say. I don't. It's so few till it almost look like it's nobody.
So you feel like it might get lost?
It might, live-wise, it's going to get lost if they don't play the blues. You know, because, you know, it's not as easy as you might think. Well, I'll pick up the guitar and play the blues anytime. It's not that easy. See, my dad used to sing at the piano. And the piano was given to my mom my mom was a housekeeper, and it was given to her through one of her people that she housekept. And it was in pretty good shape when we got it, you know, but my dad and my mom, we didn't have a lot of money, so he would play it. And he couldn't play the piano very well, but he could play a lot of notes, and he play a lot of notes. You're going to hear some of them wrong, some of them right. He could play guitar, play the blues. He just couldn't beat him. But he would play, and his mom and dad had passed, but the pictures was sitting right in front of him. He was saying, I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, by the river, my whole life I spent. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, it's been too hard. Nah, he was saying that song, I remember, and some other songs. And then all of a sudden he would stop. He would stop playing. And it was just quiet. Just quiet, just sitting there. And then, Dad, you all right? He turned around, eyes red and soaking wet. And looking at his mom and dad. He just came to a complete stop and just sit down on the piano. Of course, he had a beer. He had a beer. But after that intermission, I don't know if it's intermission, a sentimental mission. And after that, about 15, 30 minutes, and go back to playing. He was saying, I got a woman way over town. She's good to me. She's good to me. I got a woman way over town. She's good to me. And they turned around. My mom was in the audience. And he turned around. She laying down asleep on the couch. He turned around. Mom, you heard that? Yeah. You like that? Yeah. I got a woman way over town. She's good to me. She's good to me. And he was saying, I got a woman, very big feet. She's long and legged. She ain't nothing to eat, but she's my baby. And I love her just saying. I love her because Caledonia is her name. Caledonia. That so hard. What makes your big head so hard? I love you. That should be, yeah, he used to do all that.
It sounds like he
would
really
do that.
loved to entertain.
Well, no, this was after he got out the music business, his hand messed up.
Yeah.
But he had that piano. And on the weekends, because after Sunday, about 6 o'clock, everything closed down because he got to go to work. And he wouldn't, all right, Mom, I'm ready. I mean, he's ready for supper. And she give him everything in the icebox, just the whole thing, and whatever's in there. Yeah, that is. But at 6 o'clock, he's through. But from Friday, sometime Thursday, all the way up to 6 o'clock Sunday, that piano. And Caledonia, he sung, ain't nobody here but us chickens. Ain't nobody here at all. We chickens trying to rest, and you bust in. And hopper. It's a sin. Tomorrow is a busy day. We got worms to scratch and eggs to lay. I remember all that stuff.
I used to play that one for my daughter.
You did? That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I'm not saying. Now we talking about songs that were made in the 30s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, how many people can touch them kind of songs?
Right. No, they're fun though. They're a lot of fun.
Well, not only that, they were songs that had a lot of reality to them. And like I said, if you play the blues, got to play with a feeling, and or sing songs that's got some lyrics in it, that's got real blues lyrics, you know. And you know, these guys have gotten away from a lot of that stuff. You know, it's a shame. There's some real serious songs out there. So when people play Caledonia, walking with my baby, she got great big feet. She's long, lean, and lanky. She had nothing to eat, but she's my baby. And I love her just the same. I love that woman because Caledonia is her name. And it says, Caledonia, pop. The band goes, pop, Caledonia, pop. Pop, make your head, big head so hard. You know, you can't match those songs. If you play them now, people are like, what is he singing? Never heard that before. Well, that's the kind of stuff I grew up on. Matter of fact, you know, this interview might help me kind of guide me back in that same direction.
And I was to say thank you so much for coming out and for doing the interview. I really appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for playing and everything.
And you found out I'm not quite as quiet as I seem to be. This guy might be too saturated with the blues.
Oh, no, not at all. Not
No?
at all. You did an awesome job. You did an
Thank
awesome
you,
job.
thank you.
Thank you.